All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here for a little bit. This is a football team, and the Buccaneers going through a sea change. Obviously, Tom Brady is retiring, it seems, for good this time. So that means there's going to be a lot of changes in the offense. Obviously, changed the quarterback. A lot of things are going to change. They made some changes to the coaching staff as well. And the Buccaneers have come out with a massive announcement recently about the direction they're going to go, both this offseason and into the future, into the 2023 season, that I think gives a big insight to their mindset and where their headspace is. But before I get into that, Bucs fans, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Free agency draft is not too far away. Obviously, a lot of teams are looking to add some key pieces to improve their roster. But I want to throw a different question at you. Give us one guy that's currently a Tampa Bay Buccaneer that you want the Bucs to get rid of, whether cut or trade, whatever. It doesn't matter. You feel like this player is weighing the Bucs roster down and you want him gone. Let me know who that guy is in the comment section below. All right, so Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like I mentioned, they're going to have to find out who their next quarterback is. Brady is obviously gone. Blaine Gabbert is not being brought back. He's a free agent, and that means there's only one quarterback currently on the roster, and that's former second-round draft pick out of the University of Florida, Kyle Trask. And according to Jeff Darlington, I'm going to pull up the tweet here, the Bucs will likely go ahead with Trask as their Week 1 starter. This was according to Jason Light. He added that, Darlington said this, He added that he thinks GM Jason Light believes that, quote, Kyle Trask is the best quarterback in the division. All right, that's very high praise for a guy who I think has 9 career passing attempts here from Jason Light. But I think he's actually on to something, because if you take a step back and look at the NFC South, it is really bad at quarterback. The Carolina Panthers have, Sam Darnold and P.J. Walker. So as long as you're not absolutely atrocious like Sam Darnold is, you're probably better. I'm willing to bet Kyle Trask isn't absolutely atrocious, so he's probably better than the Panthers situation there. Then you look at the Saints, right? The Saints are just, listen, you had Jameis Winston was supposed to come in and develop. He couldn't even beat out Andy Dalton. They're paying Taysom Hill big money. He's obviously just a gadget guy. That quarterback situation is all kind of messed up. So you can make an argument that Kyle Trask is ahead of a lot of those guys, specifically Jameis Winston at the New Orleans Saints. And if there's anyone who knows what Jameis Winston's potential, abilities are at and what he can produce on the football field, it's obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that comparison there makes sense, that maybe the Bucs and Light think that Trask is better than what the Saints have in Jameis Winston and potentially anybody else. And then, of course, you throw in the Atlanta Falcons. You have Desmond Ridder, who, guy coming off his rookie year, small sample size, didn't look very good either. So I could see the argument. I don't know how you can make an argument that Trask is better than Ridder, but it doesn't look like he could be much worse. So I understand it from that perspective. But here's what Light is really saying. Because when you look at his strategy, if he truly believes, which I think he does, that Trask has a chance to be the quarterback of the future, the one thing you cannot do is come out and say, hey, listen, we're evaluating every position. We may be potentially adding some quarterbacks. We want to start a competition going. Because you got a guy here in Trask that is replacing the greatest of all time. I don't care how good your confidence is. I don't care how much of a professional you are. That is a hard position to be in and a hard standard to live up to. I mean, he took the Buccaneers to 3 straight division titles, won only the 2nd Super Bowl in franchise history, Tom Brady did. How does Kyle Trask, a young guy, live up to that? That is really hard, especially for a roster that's a little older at times like we saw last season. So what Light here is saying is, listen, we really believe in this guy, Trask. He's going to be something special. We're going to support him this entire offseason. And by doing that, he's not putting a lot of undue pressure on him, which I think is really smart. The flip side of it is he's also giving Trask an opportunity to say, hey, this is your team. Go out and prove it. Giving him not just making it easy on him mentally by not adding some competition and stress to him. He's also saying, hey, this is your team. It's on you. You don't have a Brady or a Gabbert to fall back on. Take the leadership role and take the bull by the horns. And that means they can evaluate him the entire offseason through offseason training, OTAs, rookie mini. Well, he's not going to be involved in rookie mini camps most likely, but mini camps into training camp, obviously preseason and game week prep, all that kind of stuff. If you have that mentality from the get-go, you get to evaluate Trask, how he performs each step of the way, when obviously Brady was the gold standard of that kind of thing. And that makes a lot of sense to see. If you really want to evaluate Trask, which I think they have to do, it makes sense to give him the most opportunities from the beginning to see how he approaches and develops in each step of the way. And look, we're seeing a lot of this already from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that they really believe in Trask. There's another report that came out according to the Buccaneers' new offensive coordinator. I'm just going to read from the report here. I just pulled it up. Talking about the new offensive coordinator, Canales. He said, quote, I really liked him coming out of college. If you look at some of the skill position players he had there, Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, who had the big return in the Super Bowl, Dameon Pierce, he was able to distribute, and the thing we're going to help Kyle continue to build on here is just to be a point guard. Point guards don't have to be the one that scores all the points. You just distribute, play on time, get the ball in your hands, which, by the way, Tom Brady was amazing at. Just the ability to work in the framework of an offense, timing, read the defense, make the decision, make the right decision, and move on. Canales went on to say, life's better that way when you do that. You've got these bears chasing you. If you don't like bears chasing you, then get rid of the ham. Just kind of a funny little saying there. But the reality is that's what they're trying to do, is they're saying, listen, hey, Trask, we like how you distribute the football in college. You obviously were playing in a high-powered offense with guys like Toney and Pitts, good running game. play into that same mindset, play in that same framework in the NFL. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're excited about him, because he's shown he can play in this model, play this game before, right? It's not like they're expecting him to come in and be Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or something otherworldly. They're just saying, hey, listen, we want you to be kind of like what Brady was doing, just reading the defense, making the right throw, whatever it may be, and move on. You did that in college. You have experience doing that. You did that very well in the SEC. Obviously, that's not quite the NFL, but it's the closest thing you're going to get. You got some time under Brady to see how it's done. Now you have a chance the entire offseason to take over the leadership role. We're not going to come after you and throw a lot of things out in the media saying we're looking for a competition. We're saying it's your job to lose right now, and we want you to focus on it. And from that perspective, I think it's really smart, because if you look at the Atlanta Falcons, which I think have a very similar situation, the Falcons every other day are talking about, hey, we're evaluating the quarterback position. We're evaluating every position. We're trying to get better. We're trying to figure out if we can get better and make by roster moves anywhere. Right? They're not really instilling a lot of confidence in Desmond Ridder, who they obviously want to evaluate in Atlanta. The Buccaneers are taking a different, I think, smart approach by instilling confidence in Trask, saying, listen, we think he's our guy. We don't think he's just our guy. We think he's the best guy in the division. And here we've got an offensive coordinator that really likes his, the way he plays the game and really wants him to work on that as well. And if I'm a Buccaneers fan and I'm seeing these reports here, obviously Trask has a lot to prove, and it's a long offseason, and obviously, of course, a long regular season to follow that. I really like what the Buccaneers are doing from the GM, from the offensive coaching staff. They're putting him in positions to succeed. And now we're going to get a really good chance over the next 6, 7, 8 months to see how good Kyle Trask is. And look, if he flames out, and you evaluate the quarterback position next offseason. But at this point right now, we're in a strong chance to see how good this kid really is.